The NeuroDADverse Podcast is produced by Squid Shack Studios.
Hey, I'm Ben.
And I'm Dan.
We're both fathers,
We're both married.
and we're both raising kids with diagnosed neurodiverse conditions.
Parenting is tough, and we're not saying it's harder for us, just different.
And sometimes that different can be hard to explain.
That's why we've created the NeuroDADverse, a weekly show where we share our wins, our challenges, and all the neurosparkly and neurospicy bits in between.
Our hope is to create a safe space for parents to share their own highs and lows of neurodiverse parenting. And just to remind you of three things.
You're doing great,
You are enough.
and you're definitely not alone.
So welcome to the NeuroDADverse. The sun's out. Welcome to the NeuroDADverse, the podcast about and definitely by parents of neurodivergent children. We are here to share all of our thoughts about what it's like to parent neurospiky and neurosparkly and neurosparsely. All of the neuro fun. We're here to talk about that. I'm Ben, and this is Dan. Welcome to the NeuroDADverse. How are you, Dan?
Interesting intro, like that, yeah.
No, I don't think afternoons in a weekday are my vibe for recording. I'm all over the place. Yeah, I'm all right. But how are you?
I was doing okay, and then the ice cream man has made his first appearance of 2026 and upset Frank somewhat, so we'll see how this goes.
Because noise, or because Frank wants ice cream and you guys said no?
Because we were just about to go and record a recording, and I didn't hear him, but I could hear Frankie was singing on the stairwell. So I messaged Amy asking what was going on, and she went, "Ice cream man." I'm like, oh. So by the time we found out, it's already too late, kind of vibes to go get him one. So, and he was watching it, and apparently he was like really pointing, like, I want one, but we were not in a position to get one.
Well, here's hoping it's not the only time that the ice cream van comes down the road, eh?
Oh no,
one sunny day does not summer make, but sometimes it does.
Oh, he knows where we live. Don't worry about that. That's probably why he's trying his luck today. We do love an ice cream.
Like it. Cool. Well, if you've not listened to us before, it's not always just us talking about ice cream vans. It's us getting together as both fathers of neurodivergent children to talk about what it's been like parenting them this week. And we normally start our week in 3 words. Why don't you kick us off, Dan?
Okay, so my week in 3 words is mothers, books, and games.
Oh, nice. I've also gone for mothers. I've also gone for scrub. And I've also gone for semi-closure. I did write closure on my doc, but I'm going semi-closure. So mothers, scrub, and semi-closure. Cool. So let's get into that. What we tend to do on this podcast is just go through our biggest challenges and our biggest wins of the week, and we kind of like kick those around as a conversation. So Dan, why don't you tell me what you found challenging this past week?
So my big challenge that has been ongoing and progressively getting more frequent, that the week just gone, we actually missed the school bus 3 days in a row, which was a new weekly high.
Okay.
Monday through Wednesday. Just did not. I tried to be happy, smiley, gamify it, all the usual sort of stuff. Just wasn't really vibing it. Amy was away for a couple of days in the middle of the week, and I don't think that had an impact, to be honest. I don't think in general that impacted his mood too much. I'm not saying he doesn't miss and love his mum, because he does. In terms of the days that she went, he usually doesn't see her on a Tuesday night because she goes out. It was only the Wednesday evening and the 2 mornings really that he would sort of notice that she's not about. But yeah, he just didn't want to do it, and it just sets my day up badly. Really, that's why it's a challenge for me. He still goes to school. He goes in.
Do you mind if I do some follow-ups? Yeah. So
Absolutely.
all those 3 times got to school.
Yep,
It's just a bit of a pivot turn for you at that time.
I feel like I'm actually on the Wednesday. My mum usually helps if we're in need, because they live really close, and my mum's normally about taking other people places, or she's out and about early. And on the Wednesday, she turned up, and he just walked up to her and smiled, covered his face like sort of shy bashfully, and then let her dress him like he normally does. And I was just like, I think that I'm feeding into this. He just decides he doesn't want to get the bus today because he thinks that we're going to try and meet the bus, which we have done twice. 2 of those 3 days, we actually managed to meet the school bus en route, and he managed to jump in and then drive around the corner into school. And I was saying to my mum on the way back, I feel that I am sort of, what's the right word here? I'm kind of promoting the behavior,
facilitating.
I'm facilitating this fantasy he has of, it's all right, I'll just jump in Nanny's car and then we'll jump on the bus and everything will be okay. Because obviously it's starting to happen more frequently, but it's only happening because we have a really, really awesome bus crew that are really good at communicating and are happy to do it. And we've probably done that at least 4 maybe 5 times now since the new year. But I do it because I don't want him to lose transport as a thing. But if he doesn't keep going in on transport, there is a risk, obviously, that the local authority might go, well, he doesn't need the bus, and obviously he really does.
I think if you're looking to unravel some positives out of that, it's that Frank is still going into school seemingly unaffected, depending on what routine happens in the morning. So he's really, really showing that he's adapting to changing circumstance. I think there are quite a lot of neurodivergent kids where if their morning is disrupted, that's a day written off.
Totally.
I know that we often talk when we get into it about like which is the challenge that's challenging for me, or it's challenging for me because of the knock-on effects of having to do extra in the daytime. But the end result is Frank going to school. And it doesn't seem to be an aversion to getting the bus or getting bus home, for example.
No, he loves getting the bus home. And to be fair, Thursday and Friday were actually really good. Like, I know we're just totally different child, and all right, let's get dressed, and we were ready early on both those days. So it is just a him vibe. I can't call it. It's just we do exactly the same thing most mornings. We're up early, and he'll either just get ready instantly, or he just won't. And I just do all I can to try and get him into school so he can access school in a way that he's happy with. But also, I'm just part of me is just always thinking, if you don't use the support, you lose it.
Exactly. If you're getting attendance, if you're getting attendance, then that's the main thing. It's just navigating this out. And, you could spend a lot of your brain power and your time trying to work out like, oh, is it every Wednesday? Is it when you're just doing, is it when Amy's off? Is it when I've got this t-shirt on? You could never know. And ultimately, like you said, there's no disruption there to Frank's emotional regulation.
No, or to his day. It's disruptive to mine. But yeah, that's I feel like it's now, I don't know if it's like bordering on manipulation. He's just like, I want to do this today, so I'm going to make sure that this happens, because I go out of my way to make sure that he gets into school in the way. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like it's fulfilling the prophecy that
the
he
thing
wants
is,
to do.
It definitely isn't personal. It's just
no.
It's just a neurodivergent trying to work out how to make the world work in the way that they want, which is acceptable, but is tough.
I've taken precautionary measures. I just make sure I have nothing early in my daily calendar now, work related. So I've pushed everything back at least half hour, 40 an hour. So if he does want to take his time and I don't get back till like 9:30, 9:45 or whatever, it's not impacting, because it was having an impact earlier.
Reasonable adjustments can also happen for the parents of neurodivergent children, right?
Yeah, totally. So
fun.
yeah, I mean, just sounded like a broken record, but yeah, it's been the worst it's been in terms of missed trips, but he hasn't not got into school. So yeah, I say from his point of view, nothing really changes apart from the excitement of
you'd rather,
some
but
days
you
are
would
exciting, other days
rather. I'm not trying to diminish what you've experienced this week, but like you would rather that than a kind of screaming, crying, tearful child
absolutely.
on a bus and a door shut and they drive off. Because having been in that scenario and like having beads of sweat running down your back and going, okay, cool, now I'm going to work.
It's just terrible headspace,
that's
isn't
the
it?
worst. That's the worst. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I say impacts my day more. Just I know I'll get in there, because we generally 95% of the time we make it there. It's just the adventure you have to go on before 9 o'clock, and then I'm like, now I've got to get to work, or I'm whatever I'm doing, I'm now behind on. I'm not in a good mood, so therefore I'm not going to focus very quickly. And then by the time I focus, it's lunchtime. So yeah, it just kind of has the knock-on implication. But it's not a new challenge. But it's I am kind of looking forward to Easter now, because I just think a couple of weeks off. Let's hope that there will be a reset. Hopefully it improves. So
who knows? Yeah, agree.
Positive energy.
Cool. Good energy. Let's give some good energy.
What about you, my friend?
Well, our challenge this week's not really mine to tell. It's kind of Laura's, really. I saw it from the side. Oscar had been scratching quite a lot on their hair. Their hair is just over shoulder length now. They don't wish to cut it. And we kind of felt, maybe rather than wait until we have some little followers in the hair, we'll do a kind of preemptive knit treatment. It could just be that Oscar is getting a little warmer and maybe Oscar's sweating a little more. So Laura decided, and I said, yes, good idea. We'll do a preemptive knit treatment. That is something that Oscar delineates with, like, mum does this. So Laura said, yeah, she'd do that. And she said, well, while I do that, I'll do bath. We're not going to bring back the bath time scores that we used to do so much, because it is so much better. But we were back to like a 3-hour epic scenario, and lots of resistance, lots of negotiation, lots of during bath tasks. That's not how I like to do it. Oscar like being very clear about how it should happen, then being super demanding, Laura being like frustrated and exhausted. And I think it's important to have that distance and go, this is not the child being deliberate because I think it's funny to be deliberate, or they want to just like manipulate it. It's just Oscar trying to experience what is a crazy sensory overload for them still at the age that they're at, 14. Like, it's a bath. It's a crazy, it's warm, then it's like steamy, but then it calms down, and then it's foamy, and all of this sensory overload that they go through. And the knit thing is just the smells, and if anyone's ever had it done, you kind of remember it being just what it is. It wouldn't be right of me not to say it was mildly funny that Laura said it's going to be. She said, Oscar, it's okay. I've got the quick fix 15-minute treatment. All that means is you leave it on the hair for 15 minutes. Getting it onto the hair was about 45, I think.
Oh no.
And Laura sat down and like after, when Oscar was kind of in bed, just getting ready for settling off the bed, and said, people just don't, and not everyone's just going to understand how much that takes out of you if you think you start bathing your child, doing a bath for your child when they're like a baby, and they in your arms and they're tiny, and you're kind of still doing that at at 14. It's just obviously people who have experience that will know, but it's just a lot. It takes a lot out of you, and you kind of, I don't know. I think I don't mean to be glib about it, but a sadness kind of washes over you a little bit because you kind of feel like sad, like you love your child for who they are and what their brain is like, but you do wish they could have that independence. Which, to be fair, Oscar is often very independent given the structure, but yeah, it's
Not a
they
bath
wouldn't
time.
they wouldn't be able to do a bath time from start to finish. They just need that structure and support, and you will, you kind of are resigned to like this is most probably going to be happening for most of their life. Someone is going to help that with them. So it's just it's just one of those things that when you sit and think about it, it kind of cuts you quite deep. It's like, oh, yeah, cool. The world's not really super made up for you. However, were you to have told me that when Oscar was 10, we would be having this experience and actually being able to get through like a NIT treatment and talking to them about how to wash their body and making sure that their hygiene was good, I would have said that's never going to happen. So I think this phrase is small steps, but very heavy hooves. So,
Nice.
they got clean hair.
Were there any visitors or not?
No.
Right.
No. Laura decided that she would just go through, even though she didn't get clear thing of it.
Okay. Well, hopefully there aren't any, but yeah. So what was it like for you watching it all sort of go down, as it were?
I have to say, it was so tough, and I think this is probably where I did, to be fair, find it challenging, and I was a bit silly about it earlier, making a joke of it and making light of it. But I was sat downstairs and I was kind of like hearing the rejection of that we were going to do it, the shouting, the stomping, the kind of door slamming, and one of the hardest things I think in a parenting duo with a neurodivergent child is to go, I need to wait until I'm tagged in. Well, this is our experience with Oscar. It's a one adult, one child thing, right? Whenever there's been two of us trying to do it there, we just get in the middle of it. We end up kind of going, I'm doing it this way, I'm doing it that way. Oscar needs one of us and a very clear structure. But it is so tough when you're like, all I want to do is go up there and help. And Laura's felt this before as well. So yeah, we tend to wait until we need to tag out. And when Oscar's been really regulated, if you can see that your partner is also like has lost the plot with them, if you want to call it that, and I've lost the plot with them several times, and so has Laura. Historically, we had this thing. We don't really do it anymore because Oscar doesn't really deregulate. But we had this shoulder tap thing. It's like you need to I don't think we do call it benching, but like I need to bench you. And what we just always said was in those high moments, if the hand is on your shoulder, you don't argue. You just go okay, and you just go and you let the other.
So as in the person who's not dealing taps on the shoulder to leave. Right, interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. So yeah, let me explain myself a little bit more. So you're dealing with an emotionally deregulated child. Okay. The thing I'm thinking about is Oscar's old bedroom. They would like often smash things up and have what you'd call tantrums. At the point at which you're in the room, but you're further down, and I would see Laura. If Laura got to a point where she was deregulated, or I would get to a point where I was deregulated, I was dealing with it. That's the cue to tap on the shoulder and go, I need to bench you, or I've got this now. And we just had to have that agreement, and we only got there through arguing it through, that if you can see them because you're detached, they need a break because they've got to a certain point. And we just had to say, if the hand's on your shoulder, you just turn around and walk away. You can be angry, you could be upset, you could be annoyed, you can go and slam the door yourself if you want, but what you have to do is get yourself out of the way of Oscar or the child. Yeah,
that's fair.
and I think in this scenario, it took me back there a little bit. I was thinking that's really tough. But hey, we will keep going. We know that kid really well and advocate for themselves in terms of their hygiene.
No, that's fair.
Hopefully.
No, thank you for sharing that.
Hopefully,
I think that's when we move on to wins, I do kind of have a little segment in there. I'd be like, this isn't a win. It's not a challenge. This is just like, this is a splice of my life. And I feel like that there, what you've just told us is, it's not the win. It's not the challenge. It is just, this is what our life looks like.
Yeah.
And maybe a lot of people might resonate with that. I like the idea of the tap out, because the hardest bit. What my question was going to be: how do you actually do that dance of moving from one parent to the other doing something? Because it is really hard to not jump in and just make it worse. So
we had to work it out, and we had to get some rules together. And the rules we worked out was if either of us see the other adult deregulated, then you take them out, and there can be no arguments. Because where it came from was us arguing. And I'm saying, you're saying you can do this better than me, and clearly that's not what was happening. But both of us felt that at different stages.
Yeah.
And actually, what we're saying is this: at the moment, this kid is way too much. And I think the reason we used to feel that the other one was kind of white knighting, right, and coming in and going, "I'll save the day, don't worry," was because that's what it can feel like sometimes when someone one parent has the baby, right, and the baby's crying, and the other one goes, "Oh, give them to me." You can just feel completely like it rips away from you. Well, I had this.
Yeah.
That's different, but that's the same energy, I think. But it's different because here you're watching it happen. And at no point are you thinking, I don't think you've got this, but you are able to go, you need a break because you've got to this point. So, hey-ho, we worked it out.
Let's change the context. And it's, there's nothing wrong with passionately discussing things. Sometimes that is the way to do it.
I would wholeheartedly say that Laura and I have only got this far because we had to have it out with each other lots of times.
No, that's really honest of you, and I can resonate for sure. Let's move on to maybe more cheerful.
Is it wins next? Come back after this and we'll tell you about some more hopeful things that have happened this week. Got a question or want to share a story? Drop us a message on Instagram or email us at NeuroDADverse@gmail.com. Look after yourselves. Welcome back into the NeuroDADverse, the podcast for, about, and definitely by parents of neurodivergent children. Let's continue to kick on and talk about all of the neurospicy and neurosparkly things. It has been about parenting our children this week. Cool. Can I kick off with wins?
Absolutely.
Cool. Two main ones. I think we both had some of this. We had a Mother's Day. The specific Mother's Day win was that not only we attempted a table dinner. It was after Mabel had played football and quite exhausted. Had a bath after. It wasn't her. She wasn't happening. It wasn't coming down. But know what? Like, just both of her mum and both of her nan and her gran both kind of got it. Just kind of felt to me that they kind of got it. They were like, okay, I'll see her again in the week. I think one of the reasons for that is the other little bit of the win is that we purchased some cards and the kids both had a joint card for Laura. They both had separate cards for Laura. They both had joint
Nice.
cards for their gran and their nan. But the win was that it wasn't really a battle to get them to do them. And they wrote more than to mum from Mabel. They actually spent a bit of time like adding some stuff in,
Nice.
little drawings, and it was just, oh, cool. Yeah, cool, you get it. So that was lovely. And the other one was, I said kind of like a semi kind of closure. We had an ADHD catch up meeting with it was clinician, and owing to some or now we have done some more kind of testing and sending some information through and some height and weight and stuff like that. We can go into joint care with our GP for the medication. So we think the medication dose. She thinks the medication dose is settled. So yeah, that seems to be a real positive, and I think that Mabes is kind of reflecting on what it means to have this and take it and have some ways in which the world that doesn't work for you, if that makes sense. The world that's difficult, you can manage it and you can navigate it, certainly in a school context. So yeah, that's a nice little semi-closure of that door, because I think the 3 weeks of like wondering what's going to happen next, is it enough for me or is it that stuff? So yeah, well, I'm pleased that we're in a scenario where we brought that to a semi-close. Yeah, so just some nice stuff. I would say that I do find, and this is not a criticism for any part of the process that we had before, but the nature of a catch-up appointment in any way, shape, or form for Mabel, in terms of how her ADHD presents, the question, how have things been going, is kind of a bit like, but equally, what's the clinician to do? Like, you're supposed to like have like, what are you supposed to do, right? You're supposed to be able to advocate for yourself and go, yeah, this happened and this happened. So I kind of have to sit there and advocate and go, yeah. And then maybe we'll misremember sometimes. So just the very nature of just checking up on it is quite complicated for Mabel, because she says she doesn't know what to say and she can't always remember what happened. And obviously it's a higher stakes situation. So she's like, because it's an official person. So, but yeah, I must say that's not a grumble. Like it's just a little bit more challenging than perhaps going to the doctors and just checking up on your cough or whatever, or your heart rate or whatever. So yeah, some nice little wins smuggled in there. She got over her little injury and played some football too.
Nice.
Yeah, cool. Oscar had some positive interactions at school, in terms of them coming home and talking about school, which was neat and positive. So yeah, all in
Amazing.
all, it's quite a quick whistle stop tour through my wins, but yeah, they're just some very nice things. And it's one of those weeks where just having an update and just having that medical update and that bit of closure and having a Mother's Day where they wrote more in a card than they normally do is not really something I would have chronicled had we not been doing this podcast. So it's one of those like grateful moments of just like, not that, everyone who parents a neurodivergent child or parents a child needs to do a podcast, but just like chronicling it somehow each week is really good. So particularly when the knit challenge thing happened towards the end of the week, and it could have like really rocked my psyche and my emotional well-being for the going into Monday, because it was a lot. But those things help to soften it. What about you, pal?
No, really nice to hear, mate. And
Thank you,
so
thank you.
my side, yeah, Mother's Day was probably the small win. Games was on my 3 words. Mother's Day entailed Amy going to spend some time with her mum. My mum and dad came over to us, and while my mum and dad were here, and before Amy got back, Frankie was a little bit like the weather was just a bit not quite warm enough to go outside. I think he's starting to go outside a little bit more at school, so he wants to try and go out. And I'm like, it's a bit cold. It's still a bit cold. Still, it was a little bit damp actually. So we was trying to get him to focus on something else, and we said, why don't we play a game? And he went over to the game cupboard, took every game we had pretty much out, and he made his own sort of assault course, maybe is the best way to describe it. So he just got all the things out. He
Oh my
kind of
goodness,
lined them up, and then
Tell me your mum and dad did the assault course.
well, it wasn't an assault course that we could actually get on, but it was
I see.
I bought him lots of games at Christmas just to see. So I had like a code breaker thing. I've got this thing called Save the Squirrel where
Okay.
you set it up, and it's like modern day twists on old fashioned games, if you want to call it that. So it's like modern day Kaplunk. It's Save the Squirrel from
Cool.
falling off the tree and stuff like that. So it's kind of really cool. He set up and pigs with trampolines. It's a marvelous game. Anyway, so he lines up all the trampolines. We got this frog game where the frogs balance on this thing and you have to take them off and they fall off. So he just kept setting them up. And
I
then
want to come and do WQ Champion of Champions at your house. You've got great games.
I've got some games. The Icots have got some games. So yeah, he was just playing with that, and it was just really nice. And he was me and my dad were trying to play like Snap, that memory. I can't remember what it's actually called, but yeah, the memory game of turning things over in pairs, and he would just walk over and trash something, and we're like, oh thanks. We'll try to do our mastermind with the bottles, trash that, and he just kept giggling because he knows what he's doing, and that was just, he's got an infectious sort of smile, so that was just really nice. And then Amy came home and joined us for a little bit.
Cheeky nature.
Exactly. So that was a small win. My big win of the week was Friday, which was school trip. We went to the local library. It's our third year of doing it. I go along. I was actually running a couple of minutes late, and I met the class outside the school gate on the road, and Frankie was holding his teacher's hand, and he saw me sort of power walking down the road, and he smiled and then come up to me, grabbed me by the hand, and held my hand the whole way to the library. It's about, for me, it would be like a less than 15-minute walk. With the class, it's like a half hour, 35-minute walk. We lead the pack because Frankie likes to lead. He knew where we were going. But the sort of splice of life, there is a crossing. So where we go, we have to go past where our dentist is now, or his dentist is. And he does not like this crossing. The last 2-3 trips we've gone there, and if we've ever been there for personal, if he's not on the right side of the road, as in the side where the dentist is and where the library then is, he just he starts to really quickly deregulate. He throws himself on the floor, starts sort of shouting in his little way like he doesn't want to do it. Eventually, the class were caught up with us, and they went across, and he went, all right, we'll all go together kind of thing, and we went across. On the way back, he didn't want to. He was really adamant he didn't want to go. I tried offering up some kind of a bribe and be like, here's some biscuits. Do you want to eat these? And his teacher come up to help us as well, because she helped us when we went to Hall Place, and he was kind of doing the same thing. He adamant he doesn't want to cross the road. And I went, we don't have to cross the road. We can walk back on this side of the road, but at some point we have to cross this main road. So he was happy that we started walking on this other side of the road. And then we went past one of the other schools en route was cutting their grass with those really big lawnmowers, scared the life out of him. He wanted to run into the road, and then we had to cross. And we spent the rest of the journey sort of deregulating. So that's sort of the splice of life. Although having this epic win, there was this sort of challenge in the middle, and it's just kind of like how quickly you can go from being really happy. For the whole of the library trip, he was doing how Frankie does it. He was walking around a lot, like while the lady was reading us the story, he was kind of looking around, watching everyone, like what we all doing here, looking around the books. And then he took me to this little place, like a seating area that every year he makes me sit in, and I have to sit there. I'm not allowed to move, but he just basically sits there watching everyone and listening to what's going on. And he did have a lovely time, apart from this sort of 3-minute sequence where he got deregulated, heard this other noise. And by the time we got back to school, I felt like he was kind of happy again. And he went in relatively happy, and they said he was a little bit upset for the rest of the afternoon. But it was nice that in terms of school trip, comparison to last year, I had to carry him on my shoulders the whole way. Now I can't do that. He's too heavy. My knee is still in recovery. So
I was just
it
going to
was
say
amazing.
about the. I was just going to say about the time, the difference. Like
1 year on, pretty much to the week.
1 year on, he's still really struggling with his auditory processing of loud, unexpected noises.
Yeah.
However, his ability to walk to and sit and focus and see value in of some sort, the reading, or the group experience of listening to someone read a story, that's great.
Yeah. In terms of experience, it was much more engaged. He's still, when you look at him in his class as a whole, there was him and another one of the students. They are the ones that walk around and aren't seated. But as we've often said, just because you're sitting still or because you're moving doesn't mean you're not listening and taking it in. They are just movers, kind of like me. Like I do stim all the time. Like even now with people watching on you, I slide from side to side. I move up and down. Like I'm always moving, so I get it. But he just seemed a lot more switched on, and the staff were just saying that he's had a really nice couple of weeks as well, and he's being more helpful. So yeah,
Cool,
that was
man.
my big win. It's just sort of it's all coming together, but then out of nowhere, splice of life, something happens, and
But that
you're then
doesn't negate like the two things.
No,
Yeah,
but
two things.
But that's
could be
what I was
true.
saying about your thing earlier, is like you
Yeah,
having a
yeah.
positive, but then you have to explain the negative that then happens to then reinforce actually we are managing to get through it. It doesn't happen all the time, but I'm glad it did. But I'm also glad it happened on a Friday, because if it would have been a Tuesday, that could have really impacted the week more.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, we had a nice school trip together
Cool.
again. So
nice. These sound like positive weeks. I wonder if we're going to have two of them next week. Why don't we check in on what's happening for us next week on our best named section of the podcast? Look ahead to the week ahead. It's look ahead to the week ahead. Energy dance. What have you got coming up? I'll tell you something. We've got something coming up. Mabel has a 2-day mock exam in art where she's making a clay vase.
Ooh, okay.
Or a clay sculpture of some sort of pot. It is causing Mabel no end of anxiety. And I'm trying not to make that comical, but on the one hand, two things can be true, right? I am so glad that she is that bothered about some stuff that's happening at her school. So glad. On the other hand, her regulating that and experiencing how that is going to go is potentially going to cause us some challenges. Other than that, let me just double check on my thing. She's due to play football for the school again. And excuse me. Laura's solo parenting them to go over and see some family at the weekend. 'Cause I'm off doing something at the weekend. Yeah, not too mad, not too crazy, but yeah, definitely that school thing is definitely right there front and center, as this could be your biggest challenge.
Is that out of interest?
like I
What
said-
days of the week is it? Is it early on, so it's out the way, or is it going to be anxiety inducing because it's the
No,
end
it's
of the
Wednesday.
week?
It's Wednesday, Thursday.
Right, yeah,
So
it's a
we'll
bit
see how-
frustrating.
Yeah.
Okay,
see
well,
how-
wishing her all the best.
Thank you.
My week ahead, we start off with a Monday morning, 9:00, because we always try and get 9:00 appointments for Frankie, just to help him get through the rest of his day. Our melatonin review meeting. So
Oh, rad. Yeah, cool.
we ran out of our supply
I remember you were
about 10
saying-
days before the appointment, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, last one went relatively well, so hoping for that again. And then it's kind of a back to normal week. As I said, Amy was away Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
She was out of the house from Tuesday morning till like midnight Thursday / Friday, super early hours of Friday morning. So just having us back at both in all the time would be nice. And on Friday, I'm going to a film premiere for the latest Squid Shack movie that we've been involved in up in Ashford. So, yep, Sid.
Oh, neat.
Sid.
That Friday.
Sid went and did a film. It is, yeah, on Friday, yeah. So Sid went and did another year of the Screen South, Screen Ashford short film funding, and they got selected. So,
cool.
And it's a very nice little piece. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing that on the big screen.
Which one is it, buddy?
Which one is?
Which film is it?
It's called Hush, Little One.
Oh, cool. Exciting times. If you're listening to the podcast, then you would have heard that this is a Squid Shack Studios production, and they don't only make this; they make awesome little, beautiful, lovely, well-crafted, nice storytelling short films, and you should go check them out. And not to give Dan any more work, but he's going to put a link to the website in the bottom of this.
Amazing.
What?
We would love you to check out our YouTube
amazing.
channel. Yeah,
Yeah, let's do that.
Our back catalogue is on there.
Nice, lovely stuff. Oh, cool. That's exciting. Cool. Nice. All right. Well, before we leave, I'm just going to continue to say the kind of increasing steady numbers that people are still listening to and watching and getting involved in this podcast, and the chat that it involves and the messages that you guys send is really just nice and heartwarming. This is a 40th episode of this pod, and we couldn't be happier. I think Dan and I probably would still have a little phone call about how our weeks have been going if it hadn't have garnered people's attention, but we probably just wouldn't record them because we enjoy it so much, and we love that you do as well. And yeah, some more things in the pipeline, do some exciting new things in different ways, maybe, when we can fit those things in, because if you have been listening, you'll also know that we are very busy humans. But yeah, cool. So if you have anything that you'd like to say to us, get in touch. We have an Instagram and a TikTok, and we also are on Gmail, the NeuroDADverse at gmail.com. So we'll be here next week chatting about how that week has been. But we've been the NeuroDADverse, and there's 3 important things that Dan's going to talk to you about.
So you're brilliant for listening right to the end just to hear these amazing 3 words. 3 phrases even, that you are enough, you're doing great, and you're definitely not alone. Please.
That's about it for the NeuroDADverse. We'll be back next week.
If you laughed, cried, or nodded in tired agreement, don't forget to follow us and leave a review. It helps more parents find us.
Just remember, you're doing great,
you are enough, and you are definitely not alone.
Got a question or want to share a story? Drop us a message on Instagram or email us at NeuroDADverse@gmail.com. Look after yourselves.